Gonna do it up today, I guess. So, okay, episode 6 is coming at ya. Finally, because I pressed the record button. Yeah, so hi everybody, I'm Elise. Thank you for tuning in and watching. If you're back for more, great, nice to see you. If this is your first time coming in, I'm glad I pressed record for your viewing pleasure. Hope you like my podcast. This is me talking about knitting and whatever else crops up. Typically it's all knitting related for the most part. Just gonna make sure. Okay, the time is increasing, so we're good. We're going. Today is April 12th of 2016. It is Tuesday. The rain has stopped. Earlier it was raining a little bit more. I did have a fresh latte made, which I have been enjoying quite a bit, in my tentacle-y mug. I used Irish cream coffee, or flavored coffee beans this morning, which, so good. It doesn't, I mean, it's not like real Irish cream in your coffee, but it tastes just as fantastic, and I don't get all liquored up. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'll try to keep myself together for you guys. So I don't even know where to kind of start. I don't have a whole hell of a lot kind of here to talk about today. I don't even know how long I was recording for before. Rhyme timing today. I do have some FOs, and let's get to it, I guess. So the first FO I have is this one on the head. This is the Hermione Hearts Ron pattern from Krista Aylesworth. Yep, Aylesworth. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's absolutely fantastic. It fits really nicely, I think. So I started this one on Sunday after I had already knit my original plan for this yarn. So this is going to kind of be like some kind of tip type of thing, since this is my 2 Tips podcast. So the first tip is, I mean, go with your gut. Knit your planned pattern. Mine was the Reiki hat by Sarah Young. Knit it 3 times, and it wasn't working. I posted a lovely little collage picture. Hopefully I inserted it there. If not, it was a whole bunch of funny faces of me wearing the Reiki hat, kind of like, do we like it? Do we not? Do I keep it? Do I frog it? I ended up, well, I didn't really frog it, I just kind of knit from it once I needed to add in more yarn on this one. But, yeah, so plans change. Plans can totally change with knitting, just as they can in everyday life and situations. It's okay. It's okay if you've picked a pattern, picked a yarn, started it, and realized, like, something's just not cohesive, or as cohesive as it could be. So I did post that picture on Instagram, kind of saying, like, oh my goodness, do I keep this ill-fitting hat that I'm really unsure of, or do I knit the Hermione Hearts Ron hat and partake in KT's inside number 23 Harry Potter cowl? Clearly that's what happened. So, great pattern, absolutely great. I did modify it just a little bit. So, wow, look at that head of hair. So knitting the Reiki hat first I used size 4 and 6 US needles, which is a 3.5 and a 4.0 millimeter. I think that's what they are. And I liked the fabric that that hat was giving me. So I said, I'm going to use the same needles because I like the way it's knitting up. So I used 4 and 6 US. Kind of sniffly, gross, sorry. For this hat, I'm using Haven Yarn & Goods Light DK, which is dyed by Jess. And she's out, I believe she's out in Beaumont, Alberta, which I don't know where that is, other than it's on the other side of the Rockies in Alberta. Not so good on my geography, but there's those details. So Light DK, blah, 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 blah. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. It is so soft, so squishy. I would say it's not like an overly crazy structured hat because I used a little bit of a looser gauge, I would think. I love it. I knitted exactly to pattern, so it's a 1x1 rib, and then you have this repeating stitch pattern, which is a little bit of cable and a little bit of lace in the purl section in between the cables. There's also, I don't know how well this is going to show up. Pretty well. Like, it goes into like this star at the top of the head, which I thought was super neat. Sorry, coffee's making me burp. Sorry. Love this thing. It fits me way better than the first one did. The yarn is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I love all the little specks that are in it of like the yellow, the orange, the purple, the blue. Oh, so pretty. So, so pretty. So, let me just fix myself up here for you a little bit. I kind of want to take like a picture like I do have for my Phaedra hat, because I think that's going to be kind of like my picture for hats, so kind of something like that. But yeah, absolutely love this. So as I mentioned, yeah, I'm entering this in KT's Inside number 23 Harry Potter COWL, which is wrapping up, I believe, on April 31st, goes till the end of the month, so there's still tons of time to get yourself either started on a project or finish your project if you haven't done so yet. This hat, if you're wondering, literally took me an evening and maybe an hour or two the next day. So I knit essentially the ribbing and the body of the hat and then did the decreases for a little bit the next day. Super quick, super easy. I don't consider myself to be like a fast knitter. I think if I ever put myself into like a speed knitting competition, nothing would get done compared to other people. But that's okay. Knitting doesn't have to be a race. It doesn't. Just knit at your pace. Knitting doesn't have to be a race. Just knit at your pace. Whatever. It's all good. Finished object number 1. Finished object number 2. How cute is he? So I finished this a few days ago. I don't even know when I finished him. So cute. And he's much smaller than his bunny companion. All the squishy stuffies. So cute. I can't get over these. So these are both patterns. His head seems a little floppy. They work. So they're both by Little Cotton Rabbit's House of Patterns, which is Julie Williams. This is Little Bunny Girl in a Dotty Dress, and this is Catboy, technically. This guy will not be getting any clothes. because I think he looks really cute as a naked little kitty. There's also this little game that I have on my iPhone, which is Nico Atsumi? Something like that. Oopsie. See if we can pull Nico Atsume. Start it up here. I'm sure some of you have seen it if you haven't. So there's like the title loading screen. Oh look, and there's my yard with a cat. So you get these little cats popping up. Like the game itself is absolutely ridiculous. And not in like a good way. It's not like mind-blowing amazing. But you end up having these little cats pop up. And just trying to show you. I hope you guys can see it. Sorry. Okay, so in one of these pictures of these cats that have shown up in my yard, you get to see their little bum. And can you see that there? It's like a little X. Just kind of looks like blurry. But it's a little black X for like their butthole. It's hilarious and so cute. And I think little Mr. Whiskers here is going to get a little X for his butt. So that might be coming at you soon. See, it would just go right in there. Little X for his butt. I think it'd be super cute and hilarious. I knit this guy in Mad Tosh Sock in the Whiskers colorway. I think it looks very cat-like to me. It's very kind of variegated, but like in nice tones. Yeah, absolutely love knitting these little things. They're so fun. So Julie's patterns, I don't know if you guys are like super into the stuffies or not. These are my first two that I've ever knit, and they're by the same designer, so I only have one experience. But she knits all of her patterns, or all of her pieces flat, and then seams them up together with the mattress stitch. So if that's not intriguing to you, maybe don't go for it, but they're so easy. I mean, they were a pleasure to knit. I absolutely enjoyed every second. This one is knit out of Barocco Vintage DK, so I knew there would be a size difference. I just kind of wanted to see. I think this size, totally cute. This size is obviously really cute too, but I love them. They're so cute. So that was my second finished object. I'm gonna show another one only because when I was recording before, I searched through my stash for some yarn, blah, 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 and came across my GAPTASTIC cowl, which usually actually sits kind of back here. So you've seen it, you just haven't seen it. This is my GAPTASTIC cowl, and the only reason why I want to show it is because I watched, the Legacy Knits podcast this morning with Chelsea and Sue. Hi, ladies. And they were mentioning how maybe Chelsea was going to use some yarn that some family members had given her from one of their trips, one of their recent travels. And it's a hand-spun, beautiful yellowy gold color. And they mentioned the GAPTASTIC cowl. I know Chelsea's not a big fan of purling. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of purling. But I love this cowl, or scarf, or whatever monstrosity you want to name it. And it's moss stitch, which I think is my favorite stitch pattern. I love it. But Chelsea, if you're watching, I think this would be beautiful in that yarn that you have. Absolutely beautiful. So this is a honker. Like, this is big. I think if you knit it with like half-ish the amount of stitches, so like just that it was this length, well, it would end up being this length because it's knit in the round. Would be fantastic to have this just around. I think it would work. You could probably even go, if not half, maybe even a third. I don't know. You'd have to play around with the numbers, but It's so easy of a pattern. It was totally mindless for me. I knit it in my parents' truck on the way from London, Ontario to Lindsay, Ontario after visiting my grandmother, and pretty much knit the whole thing, I think. I think I had maybe a few rows done at her house just to make sure I was doing it right. And she was kind of teaching me. And then 4 hours on the way home. And then I think all I had to do was cast off. And I didn't want to do that in the truck because, to be honest with you, didn't know how to do it. So I had to wait till I got home to get on the YouTube and teach myself. So I think it would be absolutely fantastic. This is the pattern, the GAPTASTIC pattern, written as per the instructions, as far as I remember. And I used Bernat, Softy Chunky in one of their colorways. I don't know. It's great. It's so big. So big. I'm not the greatest at wearing big things like this, but I do really like this one. But yeah, anyway. So it's a biggie. Biggie. But I think, I mean, this is big, and it kind of is chunky at the back of your neck. But I think just the stitch pattern that it is, just the moss stitch, would look really wonderful in that yarn that you have, Chelsea. And it wouldn't, I think it would just let the yarn shine. So, I mean, go for it. Maybe go for it and see how it works. I know that yarn is a different weight. At least I think you guys were thinking it was maybe more of like a worsted. So that would have to change up your numbers a little bit, I think. But I think you should give it a try, because I think I'd like to see that yarn knit up in that pattern, because I've kind of actually thought of knitting a closer fitting one for myself. Just haven't done it yet. So yeah, that was a little like personal message, I guess, to Chelsea and Sue. Oh, yeah, and speaking of Chelsea and Sue, the whole reason why I kind of knit these guys was for their stuffy along. They're a little small, so I don't know if I'm going to enter them, but I could enter them maybe as a pair. We'll see. I do have plans for another stuffy, so it's not on the needles yet, because if you remember last week, I went to the frog pond and frogged my Age of Brass and Steam shawlette, we'll call it. It was knit out of this yarn, which is Sweet Georgia Superwash Merino DK. It's a really pretty color. It's the amethyst colorway. I really like it. Tons of like bright pinks and purples and some dark. It's not quite black, at least I don't think it is, but it's like a definite deep purple. If it's not black, it's like the darkest purple ever. I love it. But I'm thinking this might be an ELEPHANTE elephant, which is a pattern, a free pattern by Susan B. Anderson, that I think when you end up clicking on like download the pattern on Ravelry, it takes you to her blog, and it's just kind of written up in a blog post. Super cute little elephant that I think, who wouldn't want a little purple elephant? I do. So I think that's going to happen with this, because as I frogged that project, I kind of had like flashbacks to knitting with it, and it's not my favorite. I mean, it's great yarn, it's gorgeous, it clearly stood up well to knitting and frogging and being kind of like soaked and stretched out. So I hung it on a doorknob and put like 2 cans in the bottom so that it would stretch out. Worked really well, and it's still like springy and like bouncy and all that stuff, so it's good. I just don't know if I want to knit something for around me. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I think it's gonna be a stuffy. I think this would also make a hella cute little cat that could be kind of like a take on the Cheshire cat. So stuffies galore over here. If I don't knit that elephant out of this, I do have some like worsted weight acrylic stuff in my stash, which I think I really liked knitting with it. It was the Barocco Comfort, and I knit a few Christmas gifts for it this past year. I really liked it, and I think it would be, I think I have like a deep forest green and a golden yellow color, and then like a burgundy-ish red. They were totally Harry Potter inspired color projects that I did for those friends at Christmas. So it's leftovers from that. Yeah, what's actually on my needles right now, I have the same socks that I did last week. They've grown a little bit. I haven't really worked on them as much as I thought I would, for whatever reason. Oh, yeah, I was doing my taxes, which aren't quite finished yet, but they should be finished tomorrow, and then filed and paid and out of my mind. So this is my first whip that I have this week, which is my Wildflowers and Honeycomb Socks, which is by Olivia VILLARREAL. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, I am sorry. But she's This Handmade Life on Instagram and Ravelry. I really like how you can see the detail of that heel flap on here. See if we can get it to lie nicely. So this, I believe, is like the honeycomb part. It's the honeycomb stitch. She just did it in the heel flap, which I think is super, super clever. It's really, really cushy. And I quite like the inside way it looks too, to be honest. Almost looks kind of woven to me on the inside. I like it quite a bit. So last week I had, oops, sorry, dropping stitches up in here all night, all night. Anyway, so I had the leg done last week when I showed these, so that's two about there. I've since done the heel flap, and I finished the gusset, and I am just knitting the foot. So really, if I sat down with these, it would get done pretty quick. I don't have that much more to go, so need to get going on that one. The other whip, I guess I'll mention the yarn too. So for this one, it's the Kaleidoscope DYEWORKS BFL sock yarn 80/20 in the Miss Bojangles colorway, which I spelt wrong last week, so there it is spelt right. That's sock whip number 1. Number 2, I cannot remember for the life of me what I had done on it last week, but this is it this week. I haven't worked on it very much. It's the Fine and Dandy sock pattern, written by the Sweater Co. I'm using some Fawn and the Fox yarns in her Badger base, which is her BFL base as well, and hers is 75/25, I believe, in the Let's Stay Home colorway, which is just really pretty. So I haven't really worked on these anymore because this is my first toe-up pattern, and I am hella scared to start the increases for the gusset. Putting that out there. I don't think I'd enjoy tinking back this flower stitch if I had to. I'm not like a afraid of the gusset increases. Like, that doesn't scare me. What scares me is having, like, getting to the end of the gusset and the heel flap and having a knot fit and having to rip it out. That being said, I have a feeling this afternoon I'm going to put in a heel flap to save myself. No. I'm going to put in a lifeline and then go and try it out and see how it goes. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that one. Yeah, my first toe-up pattern, I've enjoyed it. I think I've enjoyed this part way more than I've enjoyed the toe part, but the toe is pretty easy to get done. It goes pretty quick. It's just I kind of want to be able to wear these socks. I've tried this on. I like the way it fits so far. And it hits my foot to one of the measurements in the pattern where it says, like, knit until sock measures blah before your heel, and then start your gusset increases then. So I'm at that part. I just don't know if it's actually that part for my foot. Yeah, so that's sock whip number 2, which is whip number 2 of the week, and really the only stuff I have actively working on. We all have languishing whips that are just kind of being unloved and ignored. I've got those. I'm not going to pull them out because they're not getting any attention. Yeah, train of thought is all over the place today. That's lemon in there, and I just got a big chunk of it in my mouth. I love lemon, but I wasn't expecting, like, intense lemon in my mouth right then. So my mouth is watering like crazy. Let's hope that calms down. So I'm going to talk about some pod love rubber stuff. So the first one is thank you to the Tangled Skeins podcast. The ladies mentioned me this week on episode 164. I'm kind of in the midst of watching that episode. I haven't watched all of the acquisitions that they had this week because I'm trying to resist the temptation. I'm trying. I'm not saying that it's happening, but I'm trying. So thank you guys for mentioning me. Very, very awesome. And then the next one I wanted to mention as a thank you as well is Shannon of Socksetra, who I'd mentioned before, but I have a big thank you this week because I won a prize from her color work cow. Yay! So exciting. Yeah, super, super exciting. I think it's fantastic. Because, so exciting. So I won the SCHMANCY shawl pattern by MARSHA, who is from the Twitch and Stitch podcast, which used to be called the Fairy Little Podcast. Is that right? I don't know. I get super confused with all these names floating around. But anyway, I won that pattern, so thank you, Shannon, for hosting that COWL. It was super fun. I loved the chatter that we had going on, and the projects that everybody whipped out were pretty fantastic, so go all of us. And thank you, Marsha, for donating that pattern, and she already sent it to me, and I looked at it, and I think I've picked out yarn. So this has been in my stash since Knit City, which was just in October. It's so pretty. Kind of matches the inside of my mug. So this is Swan's Island. It's gonna blow it out. There you go. Swan's Island Natural Colors Collection, organic merino wool, hand dyed with all natural dyes, which I'm not sure if they do that for all of their yarns, but it possibly. I have more, I can look. Maybe I'll say, yes it is, Elise, you should know this. So that might be the case. But anyway, this is their bittersweet colorway, which I love. There is, so it's basically, I don't know, I don't want to say basic, because basic kind of has a weird connotation to it these days. Oh, so pretty. So this is their light, well, it is a light fingering, because there's 525 yards, and it's around 100 gram skein. So you're getting a lot of yardage in here, which is fantastic. Yeah, how pretty is this colorway? It's one of my favorite of theirs, actually. Kind of reminds me of Fire. Kind of reminds me of like the wild lilies that would grow on like the side of the highways back in Ontario, which I think are really gorgeous flowers. I think it wouldn't look too bad on me. So I'm thinking this will become the SCHMANCY shawl. So Shannon, if you do have yarn for yours and you want to do a little mini knit along together, let's do it up. I just don't know when. That's the only thing I don't know. There's so many things. We all have so many things we want to knit. So many things to do, and I don't know, maybe we should just plan it, and then that'll give me something to focus on. But I think it'd be great, and we can meet up like every once in a while and discuss and show and ogle each other's in progress shawls. Let's do it. So that's that. So it's not quite on the needles yet, or I think anytime soon, but that's okay. And I'll be using stash yarn, which I need to do more of. I guess that can kind of segue into... Oh, God, no, not yet. I have another big, huge thank you this week. So, Katie of Inside Number 23 had some really great, heartwarming, awesome, she just is awesome and said some really great things about me. So thank you so, so much, Katie. I don't know how I normally say Katie. I don't think I make it a D. If I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. But I grew up with a Katie. So I say Katie. I think I say it with a T. Maybe just not like overly enunciated. But I don't think I say KD, because that's craft dinner, not a person. Anyway, so Katie, I'm sure all of you know her podcast because it's fantastic and she's awesome. So Inside Number 23 is the podcast. She's doing the Harry Potter knit along, which I think, even if you're not a fan, it's so easy to enter that cow because there's, I mean, some of the Harry Potter patterns that are out there are gorgeously stunning. Even if you don't know who the character they're based on or the whatever they're based on. They're just gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Designers these days are fantastic geniuses. Amazing. And then, like, if you want to talk yarns and, like, Harry Potter inspired yarns, the colors are beautiful. That even if you had no idea what Harry Potter is, I don't know how, but if you don't, I'm sure you could find a Harry Potter colored yarn and fall in love with it and go, oh, hey, look at this. Turns out, I have Harry Potter yarn in my stash. Join the cow. Come join us. Yeah. So Katie also mentioned, she mentioned a few things, which is fantastic. But she kind of commented how she thought, like, if we were to hang out in person, we'd probably lose track of all time and just chit chat and do whatever for who knows how long. I agree. I totally agree. I think we could just totally lose track of time together. So sweet. And she inquired about this fella. So this guy, obviously he's a stuffed moose head. That might have to be like the screen cap. I have no idea how that looks because I can't see, but I think that'd be really funny. So this is my moose head. So I had mentioned him before. However, it was a recording of an episode that didn't actually make it to YouTube. So my parents bought him for me for Christmas a few years ago because they know I am obsessed with moose. He's fantastic. He's great. So he doesn't have a name. So if anybody you know is good at naming things, I mean, I'm not very inventive with naming things. I'm just not. I mean, I had a pet fish to name him Boyfriend. It was hilarious, but I mean, not a great name. I kind of want to name him something, I don't know, something manly, bold and strong, majestical. I don't know. He's just Moose. Mr. Moose. But that's him. He's supposed to be up on the wall. I just haven't done it quite yet. I really want to get him up on the wall, but I just don't know. I guess he'd probably look okay hanging out there. But for now, he can just sit there on another moose pillow. Yeah, so Katie, that's him. He's a moose. He's stuffed. He doesn't have a name. I do love him quite a bit. But yeah, so anybody, if you have a name suggestion, you can comment on this video and be like, hey, heads up, this should be his name. Or over in our Rav group, come and leave me a little comment. And I don't know, we'll have a vote. Or I'll just pick my favorite. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, so thank you to everybody who mentioned me this week, had nice things to say about me, or whatever you had to do. That was fantastic. I also forgot I had a question this week. So from AD Knitter, I think that is her name, I had a question, which I kind of chit-chatted with her a bit about it. Sorry. Sorry. Oh, sorry, add knitting. AD knitting on Ravelry. And her first name is Alicia, which I don't think I looked that up before, so hi Alicia, I'm answering your question, or trying to, as best I can. So her question kind of what is going on here? Question to clarify. Do you find you get moments where you want to try so many patterns at once that you sort of get stuck and don't know where to start? What to start first, how to organize projects and patterns you're interested in making. Essentially, what do you do kind of when you get overwhelmed with wanting to knit all the things? I knit all the things. No, I don't, actually. If there's something that I'm dying to knit and I have the yarn for it, there is a few of those things. I kind of wait until I have the mentality to handle it, usually. If it's socks, I can usually cast on a pair of socks and just go for it. I'm typically a monogamous knitter for the most part. I've gotten off of that a little bit. Yeah. How do I go about where to start? I don't know how I choose, or if there is any real method that I use. I usually just go for what kind of speaks to me the most, or, you know, if I'm constantly, let's say there's 5 patterns that I go, ooh, pretty, I want that. On Ravelry, I usually just put things in my library, but I'm trying to switch this. I'm trying to favorite them and put them in a bundle of like want to knit kind of thing. But with that, let's say that there's 5 patterns I have. If I keep looking at the same one, almost like every time I go into Ravelry and looking at all the projects and looking at all the yarns that people have used, clearly I'm obsessed by that point that gets into like the #1 spot. If there's a project that I can't, you know, like I'm looking at it, but I don't have the yarn for it, it goes into kind of like a secondary list of like when I can purchase the yarn, that'll be #1. I think what's really important to remember is like, knit something that does make you happy. Like, it sounds totally cheesy, but like it happened with this hat. I wanted to knit this yarn into a hat. I knew it was going to be a hat from the minute I saw it, the minute I got it. Beautiful, love it. But the first hat I knit, no, didn't work. So I picked another pattern that I wanted to knit for a long time. I just wasn't sure how the speckles would show up in a cable and lace pattern. So that's why I went with the Reiki hat first. Yeah. I think I might have said this in our little chitty chat on Ravelry, but if you're having a lot of trouble, there was something that Alicia mentioned about, like, you know, she gets so overwhelmed with all these great patterns and all this great yarn that she usually just ends up like going to like a basic pattern, a plain Jane pattern, and going with something that she kind of knows. I think I would kind of say, like, do you have any knitting goals for the year? Is there something that you've wanted to try but haven't tried just because it's new technique or a new shawl construction, sweater construction? Is there something that's kind of making you not do it even though you do want to do it? Like, are you kind of shying away because you haven't done brioche before? Maybe that is the project for you then, because it's new, so it's going to be hopefully exciting and kind of like boost your ego as you knit it and you see, you know, we're sticking with brioche here. If you haven't done it and you're starting this new project and you're getting it and it's working and it's, you know, it's coming together, that just, I love when that happens because you just feel so proud, so accomplished. Maybe that's the way to go. Or I think I linked to a blog post of mine that I had, I think in November. I was trying to make like a knitting plan for this year, which I've clearly thrown out the window. But if you have like a list of all the projects you want to knit, maybe just say, you know, I've got to have 1 pair of socks on the needles and done a month. And I've also got to be working on a shawl and have a shawl done every 2 months. Something like that. Like, maybe if you're more of like a planny, structure, schedule-y person, that might work really well. I don't know. I have... Did I even answer the question? Please let me know if you need more or want more, or if I failed at answering that question, because I feel like I'm just kind of not really giving you a whole lot. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry. Yeah, so that was kind of an answer to a question. I hope it was somewhat satisfactory. I really, really do. I did get some yarn mail this week, which I'm excited about. So the first one I got is from Devera. I believe that's her name on Ravelry. Just gonna double check it here to make sure. There's a bug in here. Gross. Come on, phone. It's like dying and not. We are not real friends, my phone and I. Just in case any of you cared. So I got some yarn from a D-stash. So this is from, sorry, excuse me. Devera, who is Dana. So Dana, I got my yarn in the mail. So excited. So I got some Knit Pick Stroll Tweed. And it's the Oyster Heather colorway, if you saw it tucked under my arm. So I got 2 little balls, because they're 50-gram balls. Nothing, like, it's not fancy stuff. I mean, it's Knit Picks, but it feels so nice. So she had this in her D-stash. She's based out in Victoria, I believe, so not far from me. Saves me, like, shipping on, like, 2 balls of Knit Picks from the States with the conversion. That's insane. So much happier shopping from her D-stash. These will most likely go into a pair of socks. Not entirely sure of the pattern yet, but I have enough for a pair, so fantastic. And like tweed. Who doesn't love tweed? I love tweed. Love it. Want more of it in my stash. So there's a little bit. That came in the mail yesterday. Also in the mail yesterday, I got 1 skein of yarn of technically 2, but going to be 3. So the first one I got, again, Haven Yarn and Goods, from Jess over in Beaumont, Alberta, which I don't actually know where Beaumont is. I have no idea, other than the fact that you're on the other side of the Rockies in the province of Alberta. That's all I know. But this is her solid sock base, 80/20 in the wood carver colorway. So I think this is just beautiful. Yeah, it's absolutely stunning. I love it. So it's a lot of like this gold, like a gold base, gold yellowy warm base, and then there's like some oranges, some deeper oranges that come in. And clearly you can see some of that kind of greeny turquoise. And there's a little bit, I think it might be brown, like a nice dark brown speckle every once in a while. So this is, I bought it with the intention of becoming a pair of socks. And it's also going to be a Harry Potter inspired pattern. I believe the one that I've chosen for this color is the Double Agent Sock pattern by Jessica Leroux. And I think it's going to be great. I will insert a picture here-ish. So it's an all-over lacy sock pattern. I just don't know when I'm going to cast this on. I would love to cast this on for the COWL that's happening, but I've already got 2 like pattern socks on my needles right now that I just, throwing a 3rd one in there might be a little bit too overwhelming for my brain. But we'll see. So obviously the double agent is Snape. Okay, I've made a mess of this. But I'm thinking, because I think he kind of has like a heart of gold in a sense. Like he's actually, you kind of love Snape. You love to hate him, especially in the beginning. He's like totally that like villain that you're just like, ugh, Snape, you suck. But then in the end, you find out all these, always, let's just let that sink in. You find out all these great things about him and how like he's actually been looking out for Harry for way longer than anybody would have thought. Heartbreaking. Yeah, so I think the gold can kind of be more as to like his character, like his true character, and his love for Lily. And then the green with like the dark brown, which almost looks like black, can be like Slytherin house blatantly. So that kind of speaks to me as like some Harry Potter socks, I think. That was the yarn mail for the week. I do have another skein coming from Jess. It was mailed on the same day, but they got separated at the post office, so it'll come when it comes. That skein's also going to be a Harry Potter inspired sock, so clearly HP on the brain, which is fine with me. Yeah, what? Whoa, bird just flew by. What else do I have to talk about? I think that's it for this week, to be honest with you. Yeah. I would, if you haven't seen KT's podcast, her Inside Number 23 podcast, I highly recommend you check it out. I think she's a riot. I absolutely love her episodes. Who else did I get into this week? What was it? It's actually kind of ironic. I think it was kind of like mid last week maybe. I was watching quite a few episodes of the Twitch and Stitch podcast, which has Priscilla, I think, and Marsha. They're sisters, and they podcast, but I think it's just going to be Marsha for a while. I've kind of missed details, but, and she's the designer of the pattern that I won. So that was just kind of like, the world has ways, right? I think so. And I have also checked out Legacy Knits. Obviously, I've been addicted to them. I think it's great. But there was a newer one. Who is it? Notorious. How could I forget? They just haven't had a new episode this week. So the Notorious podcast is brain farting. Total brain farting over here. Kelly and Cara, I think. They're best friends, from what I can remember. They're both teachers. I don't know if they teach at the same school or not, but they're definitely both teachers. They went to school together. They're a lot of fun. They're really a lot of fun. I think they've both been working on some socks and stuff recently. And I feel like it's been a while since their second episode came out. Hopefully they're coming back this week with an episode. But yeah, they're great. I know they got like, I think everybody loves them. So if you haven't checked them out, they're pretty new. They only have 2 episodes out, unless there's been one that's come out this morning at some point. Yeah, so like there's podcasts aplenty. There really, really is. I'm going to thank you all so very much from the very deepest recesses of my heart. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in and listening to what I have to say, even if it doesn't make sense all the time, because I feel like half the time I just end up kind of going blah, 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 blah. Partially because I do. But it you know, it's really neat to know that people are kind of actually going, oh look, Elise has a new episode out. I'm gonna go watch that. That is super cool, because I know that's exactly what I do when I see all of these podcasts that I've subscribed to coming out with new episodes. I go, oh, that's my TV for tonight. So it makes me happy to know that, you know, some of you are doing that with my podcast. Super cool. In other news related to the podcast, we have over 100 followers, subscribers. We have over 100. What? That is cool. Really, really cool. Like, I'm not, you know, watching the numbers like, oh my god, we lost one. Oh my god, we got 3 more. None of that is happening. I'm not, like, continuously focused on that, but to realize that there's more than, like, my mom watching, that's pretty damn cool. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Sorry, phlegmy and gross. I know a lot of podcasters have been doing, like, giveaways for their subscriber numbers. I don't know what to give away. Which sounds really weird, but I don't know. So I'm thinking of something, and I want it to actually be people that watch the podcast, so I haven't worked it out yet. We'll see. I'll probably have the details by next week. Maybe. Maybe I'll gift the winner a pattern on Ravelry. Maybe I will send them something in the mail. I don't know. What do you guys want? As my viewers, not that I'm doing this, I don't want to sound rude. I don't. Like, I don't want to just, like, I don't know, it's so weird. I want to thank you with more than just words, because I think that's super awesome. And I can send you a little something. Why not? Because that's super fun. If it's something in the mail, or if it's a pattern on Ravelry, I think that's fantastic. Is there something that you would like as, like, a subscriber giveaway? I'm cool with, like, a pattern. I think that'd be neat. Maybe, I don't know, something in the mail. I don't know. I really don't know. So if you guys have any suggestions on things that you think you would like a chance to win at as being one of my lovely subscribers, let me know. Because if I'm going to give something away, or want to give something away, which I do, I want it to be something you guys are like, oh, hey, yeah, I want that. That'd be cool to get. Because what's the point of me, like, going, oh, yeah, I have, you know, a pair of scissors for my subscribers. I mean, if they were really nice scissors, okay, maybe. But, like, these cost me $1 from, like, Walmart. Not a great prize, in my opinion. So let me know. Let me know. And then maybe we'll have it, like, start next week. But anyway, super cool. Thank you guys for, you know, coming, hanging out, chit-chatting, or hearing me chit-chat, I guess, and seeing what I've been working on, what I finished. Yeah, I'm hoping next week I have more stuff, that I get some more knitting in this week. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Oh, and I guess this is my sign-off. Here's where to find me. Bye, guys.